For centuries, humans dreamed of vanishing at will. Harry Potter, Superman, and countless fictional characters have all made disappearing acts look easy. But in real life, it's a lot harder to make yourself invisible. In fact, it was only a few years ago that scientists figured out how to make an invisibility cloak. They created something called a metamaterial, which is basically a new type of engineered substance. Metamaterials can bend light around an object instead of bouncing it away like a mirror or a one-way street. Light travels down that one-way street and doesn't come back out, making whatever's behind it seem untouched. So far, scientists have successfully hidden tiny objects like this 100 nanometer wide gold nanoparticle, and they've also built a tiny cloak that allows light to bend around a small lens. But those are nothing compared to this. A 12-foot square invisibility cloak made of a stretchy fabric that can be worn like a sheet. This camo was designed by stitching together lots of tiny pieces of fabric that each have a unique pattern of holes punched in them. When light hits a bare patch of skin, it gets scattered all over the place and bounces back into our eyes. But when it hits a hole in the cloth, it passes straight through and exits the material unbent. The result is that anything covered by this material seems invisible beneath it. But here's the coolest part. This invisibility cloak doesn't just make you invisible to the naked eye, it makes you invisible to cameras, too. By bending light around an object, this material hides its edges, removing all visual cues our brains use to tell us an object is there. The military is already investing heavily in this tech, imagining soldiers and tanks that can disappear on the battlefield, or medical tools that vanish inside the body during surgery. In fact, some companies are already selling invisibility cloaks for drones, which is probably a good sign that consumer-level invisibility isn't too far off. Just imagine clothes that make you invisible at a party, or an invisibility cloak for your car so you can finally get that parking spot. Of course, invisibility isn't always a good thing. There are plenty of downsides to vanishing at will. What if someone stole your invisibility cloak? You might never even notice until you walked outside and everyone stared at you. Or maybe you'd be sitting in your invisible car when suddenly a meteor struck, and now no one can find your remains. The tech is still in its early stages, but one thing is clear. The line between science fiction and reality is disappearing. Literally. If you want to learn more about the science of light, check out the link below. And thanks for watching.